Computer chips are shrinking every year, but IBM just announced something that broke every single prediction about where we'd end up. They've created the world's first transistor measuring just 0.9 nanometers. Here's the shocking part. Physicists said sub-1 nanometer wasn't possible. They said the laws of physics would stop us. Well, IBM just shattered that assumption. A nanometer is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. A single silicon atom is roughly 1/3 of a nanometer across. So when you're building a transistor that's small, you're literally working with mere handfuls of atoms. Most engineers said it couldn't be done. The quantum world doesn't cooperate at those scales. Electrons leak through barriers they shouldn't be able to cross. IBM didn't just make a theoretical breakthrough. They built a working transistor and demonstrated it. That matters because smaller transistors mean exponentially more power in the same physical space. Your next iPhone could have processors 10 times faster. Your laptop could run AI models that currently live in massive data centers. Your battery life could jump from 1 day to 3 days. This isn't just incremental progress. This is the kind of breakthrough that only happens once a decade in silicon engineering. It keeps Moore's law alive, the prediction that computing power doubles every 2 years. For 5 years, experts thought that was dead. But here's where it gets complicated. To understand why this breakthrough matters, you've got to know about Moore's law. Back in 1965, Gordon Moore, the co-founder of Intel, made a simple but powerful prediction. The number of transistors on a chip doubles every 2 years. For half a century, that held true. Your phone is 1,000 times more powerful than a computer from the year 2000, and that's entirely because of exponential scaling that Moore predicted. But recently, something broke. Starting around 2020, the pace slowed down dramatically. We hit the wall everyone feared, the laws of physics itself. The problem is twofold: heat and quantum tunneling. When transistors get incredibly tiny, electrons leak through barriers they're supposed to be blocked by. It's like trying to contain water with a fence. The smaller the fence, the more water seeps underneath. Chip makers have been wrestling with this for years. Intel, TSMC in Taiwan, and Samsung all threw billions at solving it. Most experts said we'd plateau at 3 nanometers. Some said 2 nanometers was the absolute limit. They tried everything: new materials, new designs, new cooling approaches. It felt like we'd hit a hard, permanent wall. IBM approached this differently. They didn't just try to shrink existing designs. They reimagined how transistors actually work at atomic scales. They figured out new materials and architectures that defeat problems everyone thought were unbeatable. And that's when things got really wild. So what actually is sub-1 nanometer? Let's get into the technical bits, because the breakthrough is genuinely fascinating. A traditional transistor is fundamentally a switch made of semiconductor material. At normal sizes, it's straightforward. Electrons flow through or they don't. But at nanometer scales, something weird happens. Electrons start leaking through barriers they shouldn't be able to cross at all. It's called quantum tunneling. And it's one of the biggest reasons chip makers thought they couldn't go smaller. IBM's innovation uses a brand new architecture called gate-all-around. Picture a traditional transistor as a ditch with walls. Electrons flow through the ditch. Now imagine wrapping those walls completely around the electron path, 360 degrees of control. That's gate-all-around. It gives engineers control from every angle, which massively reduces leakage. They also used new materials and optimized spacing to dramatically reduce quantum tunneling effects. The result is a transistor measuring just 0.9 nanometers gate length. That's not just progress, that's revolutionary. They used something called silicon nanosheets instead of traditional thin FET designs. This gives far better control of electrons and eliminates most leakage problems. The transistor they built can switch millions of times per second with almost zero wasted energy. What's crucial is this isn't theoretical or simulated. It's a working, demonstrated transistor. IBM built it, tested it, and proved it works. Here's what this actually unlocks. Let's talk real-world impact. What does this actually mean for devices you'll hold in your hand? First, your next smartphone. Your iPhone right now has transistors at about 3 nanometers. If Apple adopts IBM's approach, the next generation could fit 4 times as many transistors in the same space. That means AI on your phone runs 10 times faster, real-time video enhancement, instant voice translation, AI understanding what your camera sees. Battery life jumps too. Smaller transistors use way less power. Your phone could easily hit 3 days of battery life instead of 1. Then there's AI data centers. Right now, training a massive AI model requires clusters of expensive GPUs and enormous electricity. With sub-1 nanometer chips, you fit equivalent processing into smaller, less power-hungry devices. Data centers get cooler and cheaper. Gaming gets wild. Your next PlayStation or Xbox could handle graphics that currently need a high-end gaming PC. Cloud gaming becomes actually playable with real latency. Wearables become powerful. Smartwatches could run complex medical AI without sending your data anywhere. Processing stays on your wrist. Here's the twist that nobody talks about, though. Making this in a lab once is massively different from manufacturing billions of them reliably. IBM's proved it's possible. But actually scaling production to billions of transistors per chip is the next enormous challenge. Honestly, that's where things get complicated. So how does this compare to what we've got today? Let's break it down. Intel's most advanced chips are marketed as 7 nanometers, but actual gate length is larger. TSMC, which makes processors for Apple and Nvidia, is currently ramping up 3 nanometer production. Samsung also makes 3 nanometer chips. IBM's 0.9 nanometer transistor is literally 3 times smaller. But here's the catch. Smaller isn't automatically better. A 3 nanometer chip from TSMC outperforms Intel's older 7 nanometer designs. It's not just the number, it's the architecture, the materials, and how they are arranged. IBM's breakthrough puts them ahead in the race, but they don't actually manufacture consumer chips. They license technology. So here's the timeline. IBM demonstrates sub-1, TSMC and Samsung spend 1 to 2 years adapting it to their factories. And by 2028 or 2029, the first commercial chips start shipping. Compare that to previous breakthroughs. When Intel first showed FinFET in the lab, it took 3 years before TSMC and Samsung had production versions. Sub-1 nanometer might move faster. The whole industry is watching. Nvidia, Apple and AMD will adopt it first, probably in data center chips and flagship processors. Consumer devices follow a year later. But here's the twist nobody expects. This breakthrough matters for 3 huge reasons. First, it keeps Moore's law alive, at least for another decade. If the industry successfully transitions to sub-1 nanometer processes by 2028, computing power keeps doubling every 2 years into the 2030s. That seemed impossible just a year ago. Second, it solves the power problem. AI companies are drowning in electricity costs. DeepSeek, OpenAI, Anthropic, they're all building massive models that consume as much power as entire countries. Sub-1 nanometer means more computing with less electricity. That's genuinely important for whether AI stays sustainable. Third, it reshapes chip geopolitics. Right now, TSMC dominates Taiwan's chip manufacturing. IBM's breakthrough shows the United States and Europe can still innovate at the frontier. Innovation still matters. You can't just outmoney Taiwan's capacity. This changes the global competition. There's a risk, though. If sub-1 nanometer becomes standard, the cost of building a new fabrication plant shoots up astronomically. Only TSMC, Samsung, and Intel can probably afford it. That potentially consolidates power in fewer hands, which could be bad for competition and for countries wanting domestic chip capabilities. But the opportunity is massive. Faster artificial intelligence, smaller devices, battery life that extends days, and a technology lead that gives whoever masters it a 5-year advantage. This is where the real story starts. Let's actually understand how IBM pulled this off. This gets technical, but it's genuinely clever engineering. Traditional transistor design works like this. You've got semiconductor material. You carve out a channel. You add a gate that controls where the current flows through that channel. The shorter your gate and the narrower your channel, the more transistors you pack in. But there's a problem. Shorter gates mean less control. Electrons leak through boundaries, quantum tunneling. They take shortcuts instead of going through the main channel. It's like building a fence to contain water, but water just seeps underneath. IBM's solution combines 3 innovations. First, gate-all-around transistors. Instead of a gate on 1 or 2 sides, it's on all 4 sides. Imagine replacing a fence with a tube. Electrons can't leak because they are completely enclosed. Second, new materials. They stacked silicon nanosheets, incredibly thin layers instead of solid blocks. This improves gate control and reduces leakage. Third, optimized spacing and material composition to reduce short channel effects. Basically, they made everything work together instead of fighting each other. The result, a transistor operating at 0.9 nanometers gate length with minimal leakage and maximum control. It's not magic, it's incredibly smart engineering. This innovation doesn't just make chips smaller, it keeps them performing better while using less power. Now you know how it works. IBM's sub-1 nanometer chip is a watershed moment. For 5 years, experts said it was impossible. IBM just proved it's not only possible, it's practical and demonstrated. That matters enormously. Here's what you need to watch for over the next 3 years. First, when TSMC and Samsung announce they're manufacturing sub-1 nanometer chips commercially, that's your signal this has moved from lab to real production. Second, performance announcements from Nvidia, Apple and IBM. The next generation chips will be the first to show real-world benefits in your hands. Third, watch the timeline carefully. If they deliver sub-1 nanometer consumer chips by 2028, they'll have beaten most expert predictions. The broader story is that innovation in chip design is accelerating, not dying. Moore's law was supposed to be dead. Instead, it just got an extension. For AI companies, this is genuinely transformative. For phone makers, it's the difference between 2-day and 5-day battery life. For the whole world's energy consumption, it could mean whether artificial intelligence stays sustainable or becomes economically impossible. IBM didn't just make a chip. They proved the frontier keeps moving. They proved physics, which looked like a wall, is just the next puzzle to solve. That's the lesson that matters most. Follow for daily AI news to stay on top of what's next.